All right, guys, welcome to week 3 of algebra. We are going to do the slope-intercept form today. Make sure that you are in a place where you're free of distractions. You've got your pencils, get a calculator, and we're going to do some notes here, okay? All right, here we go. Now, remember that the slope-intercept form of an equation of a linear function is actually an equation, okay? And it's where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So just like what I have here in this one, my variables are x and y, but the slope is special to me because it is the m and the b is the y-intercept, okay? So what does that look like? First off, let's talk about the slope. So the slope sits beside the x, and it's only the number. So in this case, the slope is -2. Now, when I want to talk about the y-intercept, I am talking about just the number that's solo. It's by itself, and notice that I highlighted this symbol out front because that tells me whether it's going to be negative or positive. And in this case, it is positive. All right, if you will, hit that pause button for a second, and I want you to try the second one on your own. All right, welcome back. Tell me, what did you get for the slope? Cool. Did you get 3/5? That makes me very happy. And what did you get for the y-intercept? Did you pick up on the fact that this was going to be a -4 this time? Awesome. All right, let's try this one. These are kind of non-standard ones, and they confuse us sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rewrite the y equals mx plus b right here, okay? Remember, we're going to keep in mind what the m is for and then what the b is for, okay? Now, in this first example, notice that I have an x, so I have an m, but notice it's not there. If I don't see it, what should I assume is there? Good. Did you remember 1 from our earlier studies? Awesome. So we're going to say the slope is 1. Now, the next problem that I see is I'm looking for a y-intercept, okay? Do you see that I don't have anything that's a plus or minus? I don't have a solo. And in this case, that means that the y-intercept is none, okay? Don't put 0 because 0 is a value. All right, I want you to put that pause button real quick, and I want you to try doing y equals -4 on your own. Use that same thought process and see if you can't work through it. All right, go. Okay, welcome back. Did you see a slope in here at all? No, I didn't see an m, okay? So there's no x. You see there's no x right here for me to have an m. So since there's none, we're going to write the word none, okay? Because there is none. Remember, don't write 0. 0 means there's something, okay? Now, the y-intercept, that's my b, which is -4. All right, cool. All right, let's try this next one together. We want to write the equations given from a graph. All right, so first things first, it's always the easiest for me to do is just to locate the y-intercept. If I can locate the y-intercept first, that makes my life just a lot easier actually, because it's the easy part. That's my plus or minus right here, okay? So now let's see if we can figure out what the slope is. I am going to draw my little triangle. I picked 2 points here. And from 30 to 40, that's 10. Okay, so I've got 10. And it's dropping, so it's -10, isn't it? Over, now from here, remember right down here from 0 to 5, so that's 5 over here. So negative 10 over 5, which gives me a slope of negative 2. So I've got negative 2x plus 40. Now I'm going to rewrite this to make it prettier for you. Okay. All right. Now, I want you to hit your pause button. Okay, remember, we're going to hit our pause button. And I want you to see if you can do the same thing yourself. All right, go. Okay, welcome back. Now, did you start with the y-intercept? It's still my favorite place to start. So I'm going to start there, and I've got my y-intercept is 3. Perfect. Now, for slope, I need to pick 2 points. I'm going to pick that point because I've already used it once, and I'm going to pick this one, and I'll go ahead and draw my triangle here. So from here to here is 1, but notice that it's dropping, so it's actually negative 1. And then my run is 3. So my slope is negative 1/3. So when I write my equation, I have y is equal to negative 1/3 x plus 3. All right, awesome. One more thing. All right, now I'm just going to go ahead, because I think this is important here. I'm going to rewrite y is equal to mx plus b. And we're going to go back to the point that these are my variables, because this is where I'm going to need this, okay? So what if I tell you the slope is 5 and it's going to pass through negative 1, negative 7? So I've given you a point, which is your x and your y, and I've given you a slope. So I'm going to go ahead and write x and y over here, okay? So I've got y, which I've already said is negative 7, right? Is equal to the slope, which is 5, right? Times x, which is negative 1, plus b. So I don't know what b is, okay? So let's solve for this and let's get b. So I get negative 7 is equal to 5 times negative 1, which is negative 5, plus b. All right, I want to solve for b, so let's put plus 5 on both sides. And I get that negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2 is equal to b. Now, some things that I have at this point. I know what my y-intercept is. Okay, so let's start plugging some values in. If I want to write the equation, I know what my slope is because it told me right here that slope was 5. So I am going to go ahead and write negative 5x. Now I have figured out what my b is, which is perfect because that's what I needed to know, minus 2. So now I have an equation. Okay? Now, what I'd like for you to do is I want you to hit the pause button, and I want you to try to do this on your own. Remember, I know what my slope is, and this is my x, and this is my y. Okay? Go. All right. How'd you do? All right, let's check and see. All right, so my y is 5 is equal to, my slope is negative 1 times my x, which is 2, plus b. b is what I don't know right now. Negative 5 is equal to, or positive 5 is equal to negative 2 plus b. How am I going to get that negative 2 over? Well, I'm going to add 2 to both sides. And so now I know that b is 7. Okay, so those are some things that I know. Okay, I know that my slope is negative 1, and I know that my y-intercept is 7. So I'm ready to write an equation. I got y is equal to Let's see, I said my slope was -1, so do I need to write -1 or can I just write -x? -x is fine. You can write -1, it's just not needed. All right, -x, now 7's positive, plus 7. There is my equation. Okay, now, what are your assignments this week? You have a critical writing where you're just going to type directly into your copy of the Google Doc and you'll just turn it in, okay? So that's your first thing that you want to make sure you do. So make sure you do that. And then the second thing you got is you have a Google Forms, and on your Google Forms you'll answer each one of those questions, all right? All right, guys, if you have any questions, don't forget that our office hours are on Mondays and Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then again from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. All right, have a great week.